It's awful. I don't usually start at the exact 10. Usually the service goes from 9 to 10.
Hello, welcome.
Do the donation. Or they're gonna like just donate it for one.
We're just getting set up
So you want.
and we'll be starting in 5 or 10 minutes as people filter down from the service upstairs.
It's EY, COVEY.
And our middle for events. So that's comes from auction.
That's hard.
Yeah. So maybe we do want to do. Yeah, just.
Families, are you having them for families? Or some of the families.
We really want them to invite their parents. You know,
Hey, Joel.
but yeah, we're asking them to buy. And for some, how are you, Joel?
Very good.
Good.
I get my early, I try to see.
Yeah, it's general admission and you can go front row.
I see that.
Um,
So I would also say that, you don't have to meet your goal by the 7th.
right,
The gala is the big event
Yeah.
to push you there,
right.
but,
Oh, yeah, we will not be very cold.
yeah. So, but I would also say that if you want to do a thermometer in the comments, I think we have to have that on no later,
Okay,
right?
should have put it in.
Well, we're just thinking about it. So maybe, and then we can keep it up for most of October.
So bring it next Sunday or soon?
Yeah, you can have it proceed Wednesday, you all can think about your number,
Okay,
right? And then we can put it in the Wednesday email.
okay. Yeah. And just add, color in more as we go
So definitely like maybe add an A goal or B goal,
on the,
like maybe your B goal is 10 grand, and that's gonna be sold dinner to
yeah,
that your A goal, right, like what would you? Then the thermometer can
how
have
many
like,
donations that we get?
I have to correct the numbers, that may be.
Yeah, maybe the A goal would be the top. Right,
Yeah, like 2 goals, so like one goal would be like what you want to get to, and then, your top goal is
Yeah.
that you work so
Strive
out
for.
10 grand, right?
Yeah.
We can do that,
Yeah.
so we can be really
Yeah.
happy, like a stretch goal, right?
Yeah, stretch goal, yeah.
So talk with you
Yeah.
all about what would be like, be successful,
Yeah.
what the number under 10,000, that would be really wonderful.
Right, maybe
From-
put, I thought, maybe put,
Yeah, talk with your team.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then we'll do the 2,
Right.
we'll figure out
Right,
how to, advertise that.
yeah, okay.
Because October is, fundraising wise, it's the spiritual campaign, it's not money coming in, but it is commitments for money in 24. And then the only thing we're doing is a, soft, fundraiser for, Youth for Family Promise
Oh, good.
for the warming center.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna,
Landing.
we're gonna get one of those big, pumpkins you can fill the leaves,
Oh,
And
yeah.
we're gonna say we wanna fill this with socks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all your opinions.
Well, I feel like I'm so glad in that way, but it is such a busy time of year, we're trying to do something this spring, is it spring better? I don't know. We'll find out.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's good.
The good thing is you work fine with your plans.
Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah, I'm trying to tell people, because people who came last year, or last time in 2019.
Right.
They're like, oh yeah, that was fancy, I said, yeah, this is fancy and comfortable clothes.
So just how I describe a lot of this events.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
All right, we are recording. We have participants at home.
Okay.
Great, so I'll check back in,
Okay.
but it looks like you're And I'll make a loud announcement, and remind people to head down.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
We'll
so,
just get drawn these lights kind of stage for us.
so I
So
have started.
far-
Yeah.
it's fun. And what you're seeing right now is what you're seeing on Zoom. So people at home are seeing.
Me watching.
No, well, I don't know. Nope, I think they're seeing my screen.
Okay.
You got a celebrity just walked in?
Yes, the most voted celebrity.
I don't know if I even consider myself a teacher. I think I'm kind of a facilitator and I learn from everybody else.
You're a teacher in my book.
So I'll just give a little bit,
And do we wait until more people?
Yeah.
Okay, so the people on Zoom will just kind of hang out.
I did a chat and just asked if you're hearing us at home, if you could be patient, we're just giving people enough time to come down from the first service.
Excellent, okay, okay. That's really, that's helpful, instead of me turning around.
It's really, we should be running like 3 computers, you know, it's just, it's funny, it's like a control room.
It is, it is. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, that's for fun. Proud of the first one.
That's great.
It's one chat.
How are you? You are famous, huh?
For a little while, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I always like that section too, there's always an interesting stuff there.
The lady that writes it is a lovely person,
Who is it?
Anne Murray.
Okay.
I just met her, yeah, as a result of the writing, interviewing me. She's a lovely person.
Oh, that's nice,
yes.
that helps too.
Yes, I knew that, you know, I could just tell that she would write a good article.
Yeah.
You know, it was like.
Good, how are you?
Hello.
Well, doing good.
How are you? I like your jacket.
Oh, thank you.
Probably came from here sometime or another, but. From good country.
It's been a while, I can't remember.
That's nice. Hi, Bruce.
I'm a thrift shopper.
Yeah, yeah, I just, been walking, I walk around the neighborhood and I just been running into all these top-notch garage sales. And it's so fun. I love garage sales. But I don't need stuff anymore. I'm in the process in my life where I'm trying to do stuff. But I can find stuff for my kids.
Good morning.
You're pretty wise to be doing that early.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, tell you, we have so much stuff.
Well.
Yes.
I mean, the world has too much stuff.
Right.
Yeah. And, yeah, I don't want my kids. to clean
Good
it
morning,
all.
Jan. I wonder what Staples thought yesterday when they got the trailer full of stuff that was left. over. Somebody asked him where it went. I said, I have. I believe that was the case. Wow.
And a
And
lot left over. This is some nice stuff here.
that is, can you not believe those chairs didn't go home?
No, I can't believe it. Kirkland was talking about buying them and putting them in his office.
I wonder what
I
that
have
is.
mismatched chairs right now.
I wonder
Some of those have too many chairs already.
Yeah, I know.
That's the problem.
I know.
I like chairs. I frequently rescue chairs from antique stores and stuff until I was told if you bring another chair home, you have to get rid of one chair. We have reached chair capacity.
Bring one home, get rid of two.
Yeah, basically.
I got rid of two here at this. Chris, I brought them in and the woman came back and said, oh,
But that's not
what chairs? I said, would you like to buy them? She said, well, so for $1 a piece, because that's all you can shop.
Yeah,
But that was better than throwing them in the dump.
yeah. I like chairs.
Well, they were given, I gave them to the home. And 3 were sold. So that meant that one will go up somewhere. And the preacher's wife bought the preacher going to church. And another friend bought 2. Now I broke the glass here. Well, I said on the bed, and I don't know how it happened, I thought it was safe there. Great, on the wall. Sure. I've got enough left to take care of a few people tomorrow.
How you doing,
Oh,
Joel?
my God.
Very good, how are you?
Well,
You know, it's in
I'm
the
gonna find out
picture.
on.
Okay. Was another, sure.
See, I don't have one stuff in front of you, but I will. Like, they're gonna read my book.
I've seen it cut out and mailed.
well, it
We
was.
have the original. Oh, it's all there.
Like one, it's easier because it's.
Oh,
What we want, free of life.
we're not on here riding.
You can just sit right there.
You should.
Then the owl picks me up and we'll find out later that all they saw was.
Oh, and the other
And then we come to there, like a whole.
Burning. Museum, oh, by
Yeah.
18.
Old lady.
Wow.
Down right now, like, that's what you're seeing is this.
Oh.
I minimized it, so you don't have everybody.
Big bang. A burst of atomic energy or a wild idea. It depends on the day as to what you see. And I've kept it for years. But spot on.
I came home, I was tired.
Not going to share it.
That's my story.
The rummage sale.
That was it out there. That was a long day.
We're always.
Be kind of busy. We had this right around. With no comfortable. Very much. Yeah, nobody's trying to get out of here with Pretty.
When I was a kid.
I was just saying, like, very much. Well, I think
Coming in and they'll have probably.
there's something about that.
Stairs is important. Always like that.
Belle will tell you about that. I like the best. Way to go.
We're all like.
What colony? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was here.
Yeah, we should be out
Oh, yeah.
pretty soon.
Yeah.
And the date is not, it's gonna happen.
I didn't give them all. Welcome, everyone. I think we'll get started in about 10:15. You want to make sure, well, it's okay if anyone wants to go to the 11 o'clock service, that we get you out of here in time to welcome to the Third Sunday Forum. My name is Carrie Ostby, and today we're celebrating Thrive turning 5. Thrive Child Care and Family Resource Center will be 5 years old in October. We're happy you're joining us today to discuss the joys and the challenges of operating a high-quality child care in today's world. Thrive was started with generous congregation deciding to support a community need, and this relationship continues to grow. So today we're welcoming Jen Hazelton, Thrive Board President, to tell us all about Thrive then, now, and in the future. And hopefully you'll join us today in channeling the flannel. So, welcome, Jen.
Thank you, Carrie. Hi, I'm Jen Hazelton, and I'll start by saying that I am the B team. So Tanya was asked to do this, and she's our director, and she is a walking encyclopedia of early childhood care, and she's a fabulous director of Thrive, but she's out of town, so I get to do it, and I'm thrilled to do that. So yes, Thrive opened up October 1st, 2018. We started with 5 children. One of them was Tony's granddaughter. It was through a small group, well, not so small, pretty big group, and the mission was to use our space and use it in a way that we weren't just landlords, that we were actually serving and using it at the same time, but serving the community. And so we kind of investigated what the needs were, and whether we talked to people from the county, from the city, just kept coming back to childcare, not having enough childcare, people not being able to afford childcare. So we patterned after a childcare in the Twin Cities that was scholarshiping. I don't know if that's a verb, provided scholarship for, I think at that time they were 25% or 30% of their children, which is a ton of money, as you can imagine. It's $400 a week for a infant in childcare, 400 plus. And that's around the city, that's what it costs. So when we're looking at raising money for scholarship and supporting teachers, it's a lot of money. But this church kind of just grabbed hold of that mission and provided guidance, a lot of expertise in building and that kind of thing. And frankly, a lot of money, about $1 million. So it was born out of CUMC. The research, as I'm sure all of you know, shows the importance of the first 5 years of life for children, really sets the developmental home base really for them and makes such a difference. So we have an infant room, which is very busy. The infants are ages 6 weeks, and we have had people start at 6 weeks to 16 months. So quite a difference developmentally. We have little ones who are, being held most of the time in the cribs, and then we have just learned to walk, slightly clumsy little toddlers running around. I was in that room the other day, and an infant was sleeping with a pacifier. There were 3 adults in the room, but this toddler walked by, reached in the crib, pulled out the pacifier. So, I mean, you're dealing with quite an age difference, but yeah, it was adorable. It's kind of like that sound. And the toddler room has a 1-to-4 ratio, teacher to infant, which is the legal standard. We try to do 2 to 7. 4 infants is a lot for one person. And they are working on sensory and play and gross motor skills. They read to the children, books that, have a few teeth marks in them by the end of the story. There's just a lot of, the teachers are usually sitting on the floor, a lot of crawling and playing and exploring. And then the other thing is just keeping all the bottles straight and the changing and all that. And during all this, the teachers are keeping in touch with the parents through an app where they can say, you know, had the bottle at this time, or toddlers are parking ramps across the street, across the parking lot. And as you know, these rooms have, you know, it's a walkout. That's what I try to say. I mean, there's windows on that side of the wall now. And they could see this going up, and the builder of the ramp offered a field trip for our preschoolers, and they got to go over there. And there's pictures actually on the Thrive website, and they got to, you know, everyone's got the little hard hat, and they went up to the top of the ramp and could look down at their drive, which was so wonderful. So pretty creative. There was an environmental take care of the earth kind of curriculum, and they had the kids pick up litter. But, you know, you can't take them too far from here, and there's some litter you don't want them to touch. So the teachers actually put some litter into the courtyard. Creative, you know, like clean litter. And the kids went out and picked it up and were pretty proud of themselves. So, you know, you have to be creative. And we did a field trip to CCAPS. Field trips are quite expensive. If anyone ever wants to sponsor a field trip, that'd be great, because of the busing. We have shared a bus with Civic League to do a joint field trip, which worked out well, but it still costs some money. So
How much?
the bus was, I think, 400. And I think CCAPS provided most of they gave apples to kids and that kind of thing. So that was the big cost, was the bus. And I don't think, we didn't have to do any overtime for that. So, but it's an undertaking. But that's one thing we might auction off at the event, is if people want to buy a field trip or half a field trip or something like that.
It'd
So
be nice if you share it with the other daycare.
yeah, oh yeah. Civic League has a little deeper pocket, so they're good people to share with, just because they've been around for 8 years.
CCAP again this fall?
I'll have to ask Tanya. I don't know the answer to that.
That's a wonderful place.
It's great.
It is,
Yeah. It's and you know, the nice thing is they get to run. I mean,
Right.
you know, if they have to really be quiet and look at things, that's not the best field trip for preschoolers.
Where is the big league now?
It's right, oh gosh, I'm directionally challenged. It's right up the hill, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
1 block.
It's 1 block away.
It's on 6th Avenue. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, so, and they're, the director of Civic League, Jackie, and Tanya are good friends and kind of in it together kind of people, so that's a nice connection we have. Tanya's been in the industry for her whole career, so she knows everyone really. So we have a family resource center, oopsie. That consists of, I think we have 5 volunteers now. And Tanya's on it too, but it's a group that seeks to support families and build community. When we started Thrive, we were much smaller and we were able to afford a monthly meal for the families so that the parents would come in to pick up their kids, but then we'd have a meal for them. And then we have this wonderful parent educator on our Family Resource Center committee who would teach about, you know, sleep in children, picky eaters, math, you know, counting with children, just, she's wonderful, but we went from 5 to, you know, 55 in a hurry, and that was kind of all during COVID, so for 2 years, we really couldn't have these gatherings. So we're transitioning to more quarterly events. We just had a big picnic at Cook Park with a pizza truck, which was quite popular. So we're doing more quarterly events and trying to figure out ways we can save money. So with these events, we used to have to pay overtime to our teachers, because a lot of times the kids would be with the teachers while the parents went to this parenting class. So, you know, that costs money and the food costs money. So we've done some things where we send things home with the families, like we did a big fresh fruit bag, and then with it came directions on fruit salad and songs about fruit and things like that they could do as a family. So, and we've also just sent home pizzas with them, and you know, as you remember, every parent who's tired after work and is picking up their child, if they can bring supper home with them, it's a gift. So, we also try to support the staff. We have staff who go through tough life things, just like we all do, and we have supported them with maybe family dinners, or if they're grieving, we've provided some, as volunteers, it doesn't come from the budget, provided maybe some gift cards for them, or we had a patient, this is a client of family, I say patient all the time, so excuse me if I do that, who had a baby in the neonatal unit, and we gifted them with a parking card for St. Mary's, you know, things like that, just simple things that can make a difference. So that's what the Family Resource Center is. So our connection to CMC it's right here. I mean, it's you, and I'm sure all these faces are people who are really instrumental in starting this thing. So we are the church that initially funded and had the vision for this. We are a nonprofit 501c3, separate from the church, but it's a joint mission. Okay. Majority of our board members are from this church. Throughout, we've had one pastor serve on the board. It was Elizabeth when we started, and now Jenny is serving on the board. We have a lot of support from leadership, and generally have a liaison board member who's on both leadership board and Thrive board, which is not easy. And it was Carla Wysocki prior to Deb Gross, who's now the liaison between, and she works her tail off. Let's see, and then Thrift on Fifth. I mean, that is an incredible group of people who not only are serving the community with clothes for families who need them for $1 or 50 cents, I think it is, for kids. I mean, that's the work that goes into taking in those clothes, getting them ready for sale, is just hours and hours and hours. And all the money that they take in goes to Thrive. It's just a beautiful connection with our church. And I think last year, did the kids come and talk to the, or sing a song or something for the volunteers?
They sang Jingle Bells to us.
Yeah, yeah. So, it's such a great connection, and just is probably the most visible connection, I think, between the church and Thrive. It's beautiful. And then our missions are blended. And I hadn't done this before, but I did look at a little more closely at the church website and our core values. And the one regarding compassion was, we seek to provide voice for the voiceless. We seek to provide a caring environment for all in need. That combines really well with the mission of Thrive and the cycle of poverty by providing excellent, affordable childcare. We believe that supporting families is the key to supporting a community and making a community better. So those go hand in hand, those two visions. So our challenges, 1, 2, and 3 are the most important. It is a tough profession, and it's not being pursued by as many young people anymore. And so that's the answer to keeping us revenue neutral. And I always say this to anyone who will listen, that the math doesn't work out very well for early childhood. Our society starts funding, helping with education at age 5. It's so important those years before that. Some things are hard to undo even by age 5. So most countries in the developed countries in the world do better with this. But here's the thing, we pay our teachers competitively in this community for sure, but a lead teacher, experienced lead teacher who runs the classroom, and they've been with us a while, just about to $20 an hour. An aide who comes in to help and to, you know, take the directions from the lead teacher, $15 an hour. You can make $15 an hour at Target. You can make it as at a coffee shop. I would, you know, love to pay our teachers more. But our parents can't add to it. Our parents are paying $400 a week plus for an infant. If they have 2 kids in Thrive, it's, you know, it's definitely more than their mortgage, you know, so we can't get money there. We have had, because of COVID, we had some grants, federal grants, where we gave our teachers bonuses. It turned out for a full-time teacher to be about $200 a paycheck. So they got a little more, you know, we didn't put it in the hourly wage because you never know how long these grants will go. But Minnesota just passed some legislation and we got 2 more years of that, which is very helpful. But again, the math doesn't work out, and yeah, it's a tough business. It's a business and it's a tough one. Do you have anything to add to that? This is our treasurer, Del Lawson.
You're doing well. Keep it
Okay,
up.
okay.
The question is, besides the salary, are there other
Benefits?
benefits? Yeah.
We have a retirement account that they can pay into. You could maybe talk to that more, but we do not have health care.
Nothing else, no support even? Oh,
No health care. I mean, I would say that's the majority of childcares in town do not offer health care. The ones that do, that's where our teachers sometimes go, depending on their situation. Many of our teachers have partners who have the health care for the family. So it depends on their situation, but, we did have a absolutely fabulous preschool teacher who had many reasons to need health care. And she was turning 26, which, you know, is when you're off your parents' health care. So that was a loss, yeah, so, yeah, isn't it? It's just this fine line. So, the challenge, well, I'll give an example, that's better. So we have a waiting list of over 100. And that's not unique. Every childcare in town has a long waiting list, especially for infants. Now, infants are not, they're awfully cute, but they're not money makers. And so it's a 1-to-3 ratio. But it's so needed. It's so needed. People, you know, we have families who, at conception, they get on the waiting list. So, it's a tough thing, but, so we had 8 lovely preschoolers. We had a send off for them to go to kindergarten just a few weeks ago. That opens up 8 spots. Fabulous. Right about at the same time, we had a preschool teacher leave. We cannot, and we're very strict about sticking to ratios. We can't fill those spots until we get another teacher. That's change. We're not any longer revenue neutral with that. So, we have a new teacher hired, and she's in the middle of orientation, and that will be not too long, and then we can fill those spots. But it's such a game of, you know, when's the next person moving up, when's the, you know, and we have on our waiting list, this is an important point. If we have an opening and there is a child eligible for a scholarship, they go right to the top of the waiting list. We had to do that because otherwise we wouldn't get them in. These waiting lists are so long. We have great word of mouth. We have a lot of Mayo families, and one of their friends comes in to work at Mayo and they're like, you gotta get into Thrive, you know, so that's a nice problem to have, but, it's this teacher thing. We gotta get them, you know, get them and keep them.
How many children do you have? How many teachers do you have?
Oh, boy. After the graduation, we are at 52. Our sweet spot is 60 to 65. You know, if we can keep it at 60, that is the goal. That's just barely revenue neutral. Teachers, let's see, I think we have 50, 17 staff. Yeah, so it's a busy little place, but.
And the maximum number of students that could be served.
You know, it's upper 60s, but
License for 82.
yeah, license for 82,
But,
that, you know, you'd have to just lay them down. In a row. I mean, yeah, a license for 82, I don't think, that would be. Yeah, we wouldn't.
You can't get above 70.
We couldn't get above 70 and have a good childcare, I don't think. It's licensed by square footage, you know, but, and we wouldn't, to have that many teachers, it would be a dream, but it's very tough. We do have a lot of long-term teachers. I want you to know that we're not just rotating them through. We have some teachers who've been with us from the beginning who are just fabulous. I think they have a good working environment. I think they have a good director, but you understand why they look around a little bit.
Does the technical college still have a child development program?
I just learned that it does, and I think they have advertised out there. I should find out, I'll find out more about that.
And we used to have a really good one, but
It's much smaller than it used to be from what I hear. Yeah.
The lady that ran it passed away and then was inactive for 2
Oh.
years.
There you go. Yeah, so it was closed for a couple of years. That's probably why it's
That's why it was
smaller now, so.
I remember.
Yeah, it's a profession we have to really build up and celebrate and get more people into it, so.
You read the relationship to core values in the church. how do you keep that in mind for people who are coming in to teach or to be on the board or to be part of thrift store? I mean, there are a lot of people involved in this process. How do you keep that kind of understanding involved?
You know, I think our goal, being a separate institution, so the goal is, and I think Tanya is a good director for this, is really, best childcare we can provide. And then, what comes from that is the compassion of having 23% of our kids on scholarship. So our teachers know that that's the case. Our teachers, we do give our teachers 50% on the enrollment cost for their children, their own children. Because, you know, our teachers are paid about what you're eligible, you'd be eligible for a scholarship with what they're paid, you know? Yeah, I think that it's a stepwise. Let's have the best childcare we can have. And then with CUMC and community involvement, let's put kids who otherwise could never go to a childcare like that in there as early as possible to grow and learn and to start with their peers in kindergarten.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So we do have right now 23% are either on full or partial scholarship.
That include employee discount?
Pardon?
That include employee discount?
No. No, we don't consider that a scholarship. It's just that's a benefit. Oh, they have a benefit. That's a benefit. So the challenge is also having enough children enrolled to be revenue neutral, which again goes back to 1, 2, and 3 teachers. And then supporting our staff, which we will always continue to do. And I think it's our director Tanya and assistant director Misty have a good kind of hand on the pulse of our staff and how they're doing, and we'll come right to our family resources committee if you know someone could use a hand with this, someone could use a supper, someone could use a card, whatever it is. So we try to stay connected with them because they are drive those teachers. Opportunities, just continuing to share our vision of high quality childcare, and then from that hopefully break the cycle of poverty. Grow passion and resources and love from the CUMC congregation to continue to meet the goal while staying revenue neutral. This church has been amazing. I mean, we're through the COVID, through all this stuff, there's never been a drop in support or caring or interest. And I think that that's the only way that we can continue this mission. And this church started it and didn't really look back, you know, didn't drop the ball. So it's been an amazing relationship. Continue to look at grants. We have a new board member, Paige Dighton, young, energetic, really fun, and an expert in child development. She works at Mayo, and she is also interested in grant stuff, which I'm so happy about. So we need to continue to find grants in other sources, community sources, service organizations, governmental sources. So she's working on that with Tanya. And then always using our vote, using our voice to support childcare in our state legislation and our, you know, who we vote for, what we vote on, federal as well. It's just a big need. And I think we all need to kind of keep track of where is early childhood in the priorities, in the agenda of this organization or this person or whatever it is. So that's very important.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If I might.
Yes.
So how did the seed get planted? Do you know the story or like?
Yeah. So my recollection is at some pancake breakfast, Elizabeth came up to me and said, what do you think we could do with that space that would serve people? And it wasn't just me, that a lot of people, including Dick, Esther, and a big group of people said, well, let's just meet, talk about it. And at one point we were thinking, a place for homeless youth, which is also really needed. And then we just said, we have to ask the community what's needed. So it really came from, I think, the childcare that was there had just built a new building, so they were moving out. And Elizabeth said, I don't want to be a landlord. We don't want to be a landlord. You know, we're downtown, excellent location, great location for Mayo employees. We have room, we have people who care about children. Let's, you know, so the county, what was his name, Paul? Kushner came in and talked to us, and he said, you know, if you can do something about childcare, that would be the #1 concern for the county. And so that kind of sparked it, and we started talking, and we had some great building gift and an expertise from Pete Schuler. And he had all sorts of visions that we couldn't think of. But as you recall, we just kind of wiped out all the old rooms and made everything to code, which is not easy. But every room has an exit, emergency exit. We put windows on that whole wall. You put windows on that whole wall. So sun comes in, they're really bright rooms. I don't ever want people to say it's in the basement, because it doesn't feel like a basement. You know, the little tiny toddler toilets that are, you know, a foot off the ground, they're so cute. But all of these things just came over probably 3 years. I think I've been involved about 8 years, and we've been open 5, so. Yeah.
What was the MCCI project?
Oh, yeah.
Which the bishop put our church in the church that had an MCCI with that.
Of course.
They had to, one of our goals was to find a community resource for the mission.
Yes, it was the MCCI. I'm sorry, I should have remembered that. I was involved in that, but it seems like years ago.
I just wanna, kind of piggyback, and I'm gonna ask you a question, but right now, Isaiah, Minnesota has a listening campaign going on. So if any of you in the audience here have not been able to provide any input for Isaiah, and you have thoughts on childcare or other needs, ideas, what we can do, please reach out to George and I, or Nick Miller is the other person, okay? Now, when you talk about using our vote, do you think being able to provide healthcare benefits would attract teachers?
I think it would attract some. I think it would attract single teachers.
So, you know, if there's the ability to reach out to, you know, the Minnesota Care was expanded. Okay, so that opened a lot of doors for people. But talking with our elected officials, Liz Bolden, Tina Liebling, Andy Smith, Kim Hicks, maybe there would be a way of, if we really want to increase staffing, childcare, could we as a state make sure that childcare centers provide healthcare benefits? I'm just kind of wondering, you know?
Yeah, they would, yeah, could they subsidize that a bit?
Right,
Yeah,
yeah, you've got it really good.
Yeah,
And
that's.
maybe it's the way.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, Tony. And Tony came to our board meeting and listened to us for an hour and a half.
All good discussion.
Yeah. Well, no, she asked great questions, but I think it just is not just our church, it's not just our community, it's nationwide, and it's something our society has. You know, we are in a place where a lot of families have 2 workers, and the price of childcare, you know, takes a whole mortgage or one of those workers' income, but, you know, people want to pursue professions, and that's a great thing, but, then we have people who are on the edge of the poverty line or under the poverty line, and they need to just put food on the table, and so they maybe have their kids, you know, in a suboptimal childcare, and then we kind of have that cycle continue because they aren't ready for kindergarten. They haven't maybe had the self-regulation that is so important in those early years. And yeah.
One of the things during the listening session with the Thrive Board is hearing about the city, no, Byron School District, on how they subsidize, they use a sliding scale for their after-school and before-school programs. So you pay based on your income, okay, and your ability. So we happen to have the superintendent of Rochester schools that many people may interact with, but I did bring that up. And could we do something? And I have to tell you, we met with the youth group here, you know, and talked with a lot of the kids, and boy, do they have ideas on what we can do within our schools. But I'm just kind of wondering, you know, you talked about a teacher that she has to leave every day at 3:30 because she cannot afford the SAC program that our public schools offer. And so that you have to cover during the time that she has to leave because there's still kids there.
Right.
So it's how things are connected.
Yeah.
And it's like, could we propose to the Rochester School District, let's try subsidizing a sliding fee scale?
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, because that's very expensive too. It can be, I don't know, what did they say, 50?
I don't know, my daughter's paying a lot, which
It's a
actually
lot.
means grandma's paying a lot, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean,
Yeah, right.
yeah,
right.
it's pretty pricey. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, and all these things, as you well know, 3 generational issues, you know. Grandparents are a huge part of raising a child, so, yeah, if we can subsidize some of that, and, I think in the end, that's gonna be the answer. We have to find a way, like other countries do. You know, all of a sudden, it's magic at age 5, we fund education, as if they don't have any education prior to age 5, and that's a really important, learning time.
I have a question. Are you able to use volunteers at all?
That's such a great question. We get it all the time, because I mean, the whole reason I got into this was to hold a baby. And here we are. We can, but it doesn't count in the ratios. Doesn't count in the legal ratios. So, well, we have to have, so we have to have 1 to 4 with infants and 1 to 7 with toddlers. If we have a volunteer in there,
But it wouldn't count.
it wouldn't count. So it
helps.
Yeah, so and then they have to do some training, some background checks and that kind of thing. But yeah, I guess we've had some family resource center people do that. I've done that a little bit. Yeah.
Could you pay your volunteers $1? And then they'd be considered a paid
employee
staffer?
Yeah, I think that's what I am right now. I'm still waiting for that $1. But yeah, there were some issues with that Tanya's talked about. You can't do it. Thanks, Dal. Why don't you explain that?
Wish you could, but you can't.
Can't, legally. So no.
You can't pay them, but you can still volunteer.
You have to volunteer, yeah.
Especially when you're taking
If you
trips.
pass the background checks and all the other expenses
Yeah.
to bring you on.
Yeah, I think we
Even
should
if-
Publicize that more in our church, that people could volunteer.
Yeah.
There might be more people that would like to, if, you know, I know that, you know, there is a requirement for it to do it.
Yeah, and we have to have some. It would be up to Tanya and Misty to,
Right.
you know,
Have another job.
Yeah, do they have time to train them and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all that too is another thing.
yeah, it's a lot to do that, but I'll talk to her about that.
it would mess up your parent aware status real quick.
It would.
I think so.
What's that important? So Parent Aware is a organization where you apply yearly and there's significant benefits if you are a 4-star, which is the highest 4-star rated childcare, which we are. And it actually helps with funding, right?
Yes, you get higher reimbursement from the state and the county,
Did you hear that? So you get higher reimbursement from the state and the county.
but if you start throwing in unqualified
Yeah.
people volunteering into the equation,
Volunteers might drop that down.
you're gonna,
Yeah, it's very, very strict.
Yeah.
So, you know what, I realize I'm not repeating the question.
No, that's okay. I've got a question online too, so when
Oh,
you're ready, I'm
okay.
sure I asked it.
Okay, online,
Oh, yeah, so there's a question online from someone watching at home. Is there a possibility of having a homework help program after school at Wesley Hall for older students / siblings / workers kids that teenagers could work at or volunteer? So we have our teachers and their kiddos are watched like our own affordable stack that homework help.
I think there's a program already, possibly.
Okay,
I thought through the library.
I don't know.
we don't have homework help right now with the library.
Thought there was a program, but. they
Yeah.
went away.
I think that would be a good idea, but it would be beyond Thrive's umbrella. I think they probably could take on that. And would require sustained many volunteers. Go ahead.
Is there any way we could create like a perk for Thrive workers? We can't raise their salaries, but could there be like a grant program for? They can apply for a certain amount of money for anything, for vacation, for healthcare, for their own interests and needs.
Yes, so the question was, how could we support the staff? Without changing their paycheck, but
Right,
maybe supporting their own needs or something they need in the classroom or.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is what we're gonna do on October 7th. So, that's a really good segue. So, most of our fundraising is for scholarship for families, but we are this year adding, how can we support our teachers? Because that is so huge. So we are gonna have, people can just support, we're gonna have baskets for things that the teachers ask for in their classrooms, and you can bid on them. So we earn some money, and then we also are be able to give the teachers things, but yeah, I think you're onto something there, because the Family Resource Center, generally when families, staff need something, we're kind of taking it from our own, and it adds up. But I think, yeah, they could apply for a grant for help with whatever, or, Tanya would say, not vacation. But yeah, for things that, yeah, I think that I'm gonna bring that up to that group, the Family Resource Group. Dell, I always look to Dell if it's legal. We could do something like that, maybe. Okay, yeah. So, where are we here? Gosh, this is fun. It's nice it's fun. So we had a few years off from gatherings there, and we're back to having a fundraiser on October 7th. This is why I'm dressed like this. It will be right here in Wesley Hall. It will be kind of fancy, but you get to dress in flannel. So we have some great sponsors. Wildwood is going to, well, they're not donating, but a discount on the food. So we'll have kind of a heavy hot hors d'oeuvre. So it'll be a meal, and cold plates too. We're gonna have mocktails. Because in Wesley Hall, you don't serve alcohol. And we'll have some really good desserts from some local businesses. We're gonna have Deceivers Jazz Band, if you ever heard them, trombone, the bass, it's gonna be great. We'll have a silent auction, we have a lot of fabulous items for that. We'll also have a live auction that will include, pizza with the pastors at their house. They're gonna make pizza for, it's gonna be, there's wild tickets, for all of you who have young people in your lives who park downtown and haven't gone 20 years at Mayo to get parking. There'll be a parking spot that CUMC is giving away they'll have a little thing to hang on their mirror. And they can park for a year downtown, which is worth about $1,000 right now. So, that will be, you can bid on it for other people too. So, wild tickets, lower level with a Zamboni ride. Quite a few gift cards, that kind of thing. And then we'll do a fund a need at the end, which we did last time at the end of the live auction. People can just bid on, do they want to support an infant for a week or a preschooler for a day or whatever. We'll have those kind of things to bid on too, but it should be a fun event. It's 6:30 to 8:30 on Saturday, October 7th, and we're selling tickets up there. So I know several of you already bought them, but oh, I forgot, there's some auction items. Any of you play pickleball? There's gonna be pickleball stuff. I played it once and ruptured my Achilles. Oh, a quilt from the kids, they're designing the squares, that'll be cute, and then one from Brenda Files, which is beautiful. So, or you can buy them for me, that's me. That's Lily, she started with us at the beginning, and she's in first grade now. I love Lily. Any questions?
I'm just gonna follow up. I think possibly there's an online tutoring provided by Olmsted County Youth Commission. Oh, Olmsted County Youth Commission,
Okay.
online tutoring.
So there is online tutoring for kids after school from
Possibly,
Rochester.
possibly, it's called Living Room Tutors,
Living Room
but
Tutors,
it's Olmsted County Youth Commission.
Olmsted County Youth Commission. Okay, so we have a question and an answer. That's. Thank you for all you do for this church, obviously, and for Thrive. It's really, it's a very synchronized mission, I think, between the two of us. And I get to be in both, so it's nice. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for your work.